In this large world of ours, we have only scratched the tip of the surface when it comes to discovering species. To put things into perspective, we have only discovered about 9% of the species in the oceans. The rest we have yet to find, and some may be as magical as the depths of Atlantis. I have here a compiled list of some of the strangest species on this planet. There is a type of fish in the Indian Ocean called the cardinal fish. The body of this fire-breathing fish isn't large, only about 20 centimeters, but it has a subtle weapon, which is the power of flames. Yes, you heard that right. The flame from this fish can be more than 3 meters long, which is pretty amazing. This is because they like to swallow ostracods. When ostracod is swallowed, the special glands produce a liquid called luciferin and luciferase. The two liquids are mixed to emit a blue cold light. What the fish spits out is resembling of a spitfire. However, the temperature of the fire isn't too high, it's just a defense mechanism that they use. On the contrary, this trick is too conspicuous and easy to be found out by natural enemies, so it's just a flashy ability. Teratopsis nutricula is a small hydrozoan jellyfish with a transparent bell-shaped body, about 4 to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can actually see its red digestive system. It's also known as the only creature that doesn't die naturally because the lighthouse jellyfish can reproduce asexually. This organism, once reaching adulthood, can transfer its cells back to childhood. This adaptive trait likely evolved in order to extend the life of the individual. It takes 25 to 30 days for it to reach maturity at a water temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. It's characterized by being individuals being able to return to the leech type. Ordinary jellyfish will die after sexual reproduction, but the lighthouse jellyfish can return to the leech type once again. This is called differentiation. There is theoretically no limit to the number of times this jellyfish can obtain an infinite lifespan. Through repeated normal reproduction and transdifferentiation, it's given the name of being the immortal jellyfish. To be more precise, it's just unable to die from old age. Tardigrades are the most vigorous living creatures on the planet. They can survive in outer space without any protective measures. They can be found and survive in the Himalaya mountains above 6,000 meters in hot springs, Antarctica, and 4,000 meters below the deep sea. It can survive for 2 minutes under negative 272 degrees Celsius and 151 degrees Celsius. It can survive for several days at a low temperature of negative 200 degrees Celsius and can survive for at least 30 years in an environment of negative 20 degrees Celsius. It can even survive under 5700 gray intensity radiation and withstand a pressure of 600 megapascals. For comparison, humans can only withstand radiation of about 4 gray intensity and a pressure of around 400,000 to 500,000 pascals. It will not die in a vacuum in space. Perhaps they will go extinct only when the sun stops burning. The narwhal, a type of monodon monoceros. It's a mammal that is generally 4 to 5 meters in length, excluding the long teeth, and mainly lives in the Atlantic and Arctic oceans. Most of them are concentrated in the bays and waters of northern Canada and western Greenland. The horn on their heads is actually their teeth, which are canine teeth protruding from the left upper jaw, which can reach lengths of up to 2 to 3 meters and spiral upwards. They are named because they look like horns. In addition to fighting, the tooth is usually a symbol of its status in the family. The longer and thicker the narwhal, the higher the status of the whale. The Cycrolutes marcidus, or more commonly known as the blobfish, sadfish, soft-skinned dipperfish, and bobofish, is known to have the saddest expression for a fish in the world because of its crying face. Blobfish live on the coast of Australia and Tasmania, up to a depth of 1,200 meters. Because it's difficult to reach the fish's habitat, they are rarely found by humans. Blobfish have a gel-like body that can grow up to 12 inches, or about 30.5 centimeters. Blobfish are threatened with extinction due to deep-sea fishing operations. Due to the dramatic increase in fishing activity, blobfish are caught up with other fish. Although the meat of the blobfish isn't suitable for eating, it's also killed because it lives in the same depths as some of the more delicious marine life, such as crabs and lobsters. By the way, on September 13, 2013, according to the British media reports, more than 3,000 people participated in one of the world's ugliest animal online voting contests organized by the Ugly Animal Protection Association of the United Kingdom, and the blobfish won with more than 795 votes. Sturgeon is a medium-sized benthic fish that lives on the seafloor of about 3,000 meters. Its eyes are almost useless. It's lazy, not good at swimming, and crawls on its ventral fins. There are sharp and inclined inward teeth in their mouth. Basically, the prey it bites can never escape, and with a flexible stomach, some species can eat fish larger than themselves. Their bodies are bare and scaleless, and there are cortical protrusions of various sizes above their head and at the sides of their body. What's special is that there's a luminous fishing rod that evolved from its dorsal fin. There are millions of luminous bacteria in the top of the fishing rod, which looks like a small fish and emits light, attracting small creatures to become their food. Its English name anglerfish also came from this. Female sturgeons are tens to hundreds of times larger than the males. As a result, females will emit special odors to attract males in the depths of the dark seas. Males will come looking for female sturgeons from the smell and bite onto the females. The tissues and blood vessels of the fish will gradually merge, and the petite male fish will live on the nutrition of the female fish. The male organs will gradually disappear, except for the genitals, and become a part of the female fish's body. Basically, male fish can be regarded as female genitals, which is the only role of a male fish. The goblin shark are members of the family Aquilidae, also known as the pinnacled sharks or pupae sharks. The only species is a deep sea shark, and the earliest record of it was a complete specimen that was captured in Yokohama, Japan in 1898. And the biological community was the first to know of the existence of this species. Since then, they have been caught in various places in the Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. However, although goblin sharks are widely distributed, they were once considered very rare, and each one recorded. By the end of the last century, a total of 45 reports were caught. By the way, in a 2010 article, they say that when it was trapped in a fish net and struggled to escape, it would swell through the pressure change of its own fish-like body and finally explode it into large and small pieces by itself. Up until now, no one country in the world has caught a complete goblin shark. People usually see nothing but corpse fragments of them, and the fractures are uneven, much like bricks, or the appearance of broken porcelain. Their thick flesh rarely has toughness and elasticity, especially the fish skin, which is as weak as ceramic products. This is actually a rumor, and there's no scientific basis for it. Not only does it not explode, but it doesn't have a bladder. Thus, they rely on the fat in the liver to regulate the pressure of water. Although these sea species are quite weird, there are even weirder land species living above the sea. Many trees have a lifespan of more than 100 years. Apricot and persimmon trees can live for more than 100 years. Mandarins, tangerines, and chestnuts can live to 300 years old. A fir tree can live 1,000 years, but they are not yet number one in the world. The longest lived tree in the world are the dragonblood trees on Canary Island in Western Africa. More than 500 years ago, the Spaniards determined that it was about 8,000 to 10,000 years old. This is a longevity star of the trees of the world. It's a pity that it was destroyed in a typhoon in 1868. These dracaenas are a large evergreen tree. The tree body is generally 20 meters high, but the base is 10 meters long. 7 or 8 people can stretch their arms to surround it. The resin flowing out of this tree is dark red and is a famous preservative. The local people call this resin dragonblood, hence the name dragonbloodtree. Generally speaking, most plants cannot grow thicker after they reach a certain level, but the dracaena is a monocotyledonous plant. The thin-walled cells in its stem can continue to divide, making the stem thicker and lignified year by year to form trees. Dracaena is native to the Atlantic Canary Islands. There are 150 species in the world. Thus, dragonblood trees are long-living, with the longest living reaching more than 8,000 years old. The Puya chilensis is a perennial evergreen terrestrial pineapple plant native to the dry areas of the mountainous regions of Chile. The leaves are alternate, long grayish green, and the edges of the leaves are thorny. Ratchets on the leaves may be used to protect the central part of the plant from being eaten by herbivores. These trees are considered a threat to sheep and birds because the hair and feathers of these animals get entangled with the plant's ratchets and trap in them. If the animal dies, the tree gets nutrients from the carcass, but whether the ratchet teeth of these trees have evolved to catch animals deliberately is still lacking evidence. As a result, these trees are known as the sheep-eating tree. If the tree's ratchets are really specialized for capturing animals, they can be regarded as a kind of original carnivorous plant. Under the soil of the Malu River National Forest in eastern Oregon, lurking a very large starch, which has slowly passed through the roots of trees, has become the only large living known thing to man for centuries. The fungus Armillaria. It's still mostly underground and hidden in sight, but every fall after the rain, it sends out a group of small, yellow-brown mushrooms from the base of the infected tree. Most of these mushrooms are placed under the forest floor. This is a broad black, filamentous structure called a root-like structure. Creeping through the soil, the roots colonize. Underground growth can extend to several square kilometers. The Maru River National Forest fungus specimen covers an area of 2,200 acres, or 8.9 square kilometers. That's around 80 football fields lined up together. And that's a list of some of the strangest species that are on this planet of ours. Comment down below any species I missed that you think are stranger than these. Thank you for watching, and let me know what type of videos you guys want to see down below. And I'll see you guys next time.